Election day finally here. Voting for a new president isn't the only thing voters are considering.
Yeah, SMU political science professor Matthew Wilson joining us now to kind of break all of this down. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Want to start with the national election. Some people have called this a red mirage or the blue shift, where Republicans took the lead and then Democrats took the lead back because of the way that the ballots were counted. A lot of states have changed laws. Did they expect that this year?
We will see some of that, and it will vary from state to state. That is, the particular laws in some states may show an illusion of a Democratic lead early on and then Republicans catching up. Other states are going to show exactly the opposite, just depending on which ballots can be counted when. I will say, though, this time with Republicans being more open to early voting, a lot more Republicans voting early, that the differences between pre-election and election day may not be quite as dramatic as what we've seen in the past.
So the final push by both these candidates has been pretty spectacular. They've had huge rallies. We've seen both sides bring out the celebrities as well. How much does that really impact voters, do you think?
At the end of the day, I don't think celebrities matter a lot. They do get people to the rallies. That is, honestly, people would rather see Beyonce than Kamala Harris. You know, people would rather see celebrities very often than the politicians. But things like Beyonce, Willie Nelson appeared at Kamala Harris's big rally in Houston. That's a help. Joe Rogan just endorsed Donald Trump last night. He's a celebrity of sorts. He's a media celebrity.
The #1, I mean, most popular podcast. Right?
That's a help. So you'd rather have it than not.
Yeah.
But they're not likely to be ultimately decisive in the race.
Got it.
Wanted to talk about the state races for Texas Senate here. Cruz versus Allred. A lot of people around the country are watching this race. And then if you could talk about the bigger picture of the makeup of the Senate and the House, it potentially could change.
It could. In fact, there's some chance that they flip. And Democrats have a reasonably good chance to retake the House of Representatives. Republicans are positioned very strongly to retake the Senate. So those two could change hands. Of course, our Senate race here in Texas is part of that overall Senate picture. Yeah. But Republicans think that they're in really, really good shape to take at least 51 Senate seats. We'll see if that comes to fruition this evening.
Okay, lawsuits. There's already talk about, like Ken Paxton went ahead and put out a lawsuit talking about monitors of voting locations. How long could this, and how long do you expect for this whole process to can it drag on? How long can it drag on, I guess is what I'm asking.
Well, it can drag on for quite some time.
Right.
Look, I'd be stunned if we get through this cycle with no one on either side filing a lawsuit. Somebody's going to file a lawsuit somewhere. Right. The question is it close enough where those kinds of lawsuits could actually make a difference to the outcome? If we get something as close as what we had in 2016, or if we get something certainly as close as what we had in 2000, then lawsuits over, ballot counting could be critical. But if one candidate or the other runs the table or comes close to it in the swing states and wins pretty clearly, then the lawsuits are really not going to be determinative of the ultimate outcome.
Yeah.
At least the commercials are over.
They will be. They're still running today. Yes. But tomorrow they'll be over. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to have a long day because you're going to be sticking around with us because we've got a special that's going to be coming. It's live, starts at 7 p.m. tonight on KDFI Channel 27. Also Fox Local. You can find it. You're going to be with Blake Hansen, Stephen Dial, Sean Rabb, watching all of this unfold. Our coverage moves to Fox 4 starting at 9 SMU.